Hi guys, today as a continuation of the blood, we will talk about WBC or otherwise called as the leukocytes. The formation of WBC from bone marrow is called as the leukopoiesis. These are the terms you must know, you must be familiar with. If you take the normal count in our body, it is about 6,000 to 8,000 million per mm cube. Suppose the amount or the count, it may go up or go below. That will cause some diseases. If the count of WBC increases, goes more than 8,000, that disease is called as the leukocytosis or leukemia, blood cancer. If WBC count comes down below 6,000, that is called as leukopenia. So, increase of WBC count is called as the leukocytosis. The blood cancer is called as leukemia. If the blood count goes down, WBC count goes down, that is called as leukopenia. See guys, I am telling everything in the NEET point of view. Each and every point will be asked in the form of an MCQ in the NEET. If you take the count of RBC and WBC, if you take the ratio of RBC and WBC, it will be about 600:1. So when you compare RBC, WBC will be very least in number. The lifetime of WBC is 2 to 4 days. The WBC or the leukocyte contains no hemoglobin. This is the difference between RBC and WBC. RBC has hemoglobin, whereas WBC contains no hemoglobin. Another difference between RBC and WBC is that here no nucleus. Nucleus is absent in WBC, whereas nucleus is present in RBC. Right. Now, if you take the WBC or leukocytes, mainly it is divided into two categories. One, granulocytes, and two, agranulocytes, with granules, without granules. Granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes is once again divided into three categories. One, neutrophils, two, eosinophils, and three, basophils. Whereas the agranulocytes takes two forms, one, lymphocytes and monocytes. Let us take a comparative account of this granulocytes and agranulocytes. First, neutrophils. If we take the amount of neutrophils, it is about 60 to 65% in the blood. It is abundant in number, very important. It is abundant in number, more in number, neutrophils. Eosinophils 2 to 3%, whereas basophils 0.5 to 1%. Very less in number, least in number. So these are the things you must know, you must be very clear. So abundant in number, neutrophils 60 to 65, least in number 0.5 to 1%, basophils. When you come to lymphocytes, the percentage is 20 to 28. In monocytes, the percentage is 6 to 8%. Now, the lymphocyte is the smallest RBC. It's very important. Smallest WBC is lymphocyte, and monocyte is the largest WBC. So these are the things you should know. So once again I tell you, most abundant in number, neutrophils, least in number, basophil, smallest WBC lymphocyte, largest WBC monocyte. Now once again, coming to neutrophils, the nucleus of the neutrophil occur in many forms, though it is called as PMN, polymorpho-neutrophils. The nucleus occurs in many forms, it takes multi-forms, so it is called as the polymorpho-neutrophils. Then coming to eosinophils, they are motile. They form a very important role. They play a very important role in anti-inflammation, anti-allergic reaction. They resist inflammation. They are associated with the allergic reaction. So if you see, during an allergic condition, the number of eosinophils will increase. So they resist against inflammation and they raise their numbers to fight against the allergy and inflammation. This is the function of eosinophil. Then coming to basophil, the basophil contains the heparin. Heparin is an anticoagulant. You know, heparin is secreted by the liver. Due to this heparin only, the blood is in a liquid form inside the blood vessels. So these basophils contain heparin, the anticoagulant. So basophils function also as an anticoagulant. Then the basophils secrete heparin, serotonin and histamine. These three proteins give resistance to allergy and inflammation. So heparin, serotonin and histamine secreted by the basophils give resistance to allergy and inflammation. Then coming to lymphocytes, the lymphocytes are commonly present in lymphatic tissue. Lymph nodes, spleen, tonsil and thymus, these are all the lymphatic organs we'll see afterwards. So they are commonly present in the lymphatic tissues, lymph nodes, spleen, tonsil and thymus. This is very important. Then two types of lymphocytes. In our body there are two types of lymphocytes. One B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. One is called as the B lymphocyte, that is derived from the bone marrow, and T lymphocytes, they are derived from the thymus gland. This B lymphocyte attack bacteria, whereas the T lymphocyte attack viruses. This B lymphocyte forms the humoral immunity. They form antibodies and they fight against. They form the humoral immunity. T lymphocytes directly attack the cell, and they are called as the cell-mediated immunity. They form the cell-mediated immunity. So this is about the lymphocytes, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. B lymphocytes derived from bone marrow, T lymphocytes from thymus gland. B lymphocytes attack bacteria, T lymphocytes attack viruses. So actually they form the immune system. They act as the immune barriers for immune resistance. B lymphocyte forms the humoral immunity, antibody formation. It fights against the diseases by forming antibodies, whereas the T lymphocytes directly attack the cells. They are called as cell-mediated immunity. And finally, when they come to monocytes, they give protection from bacteria and dead cells. These are all about the WBC, the general account of WBC. The WBC actually fight against the bacteria.